Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to the Fireside Conversation with experts on critical issues of corporate governance. I am CS Divija Dave, founder at Divija Dave and Associates, and today we have with us a very learned professional, CS Divya Momaya. So today our topic of conversation is board refreshment, finding the right balance for the board. Now, before going on to the topic, I would first like to read a brief introduction of Divyaji. Divyaji is a learned practicing company secretary for more than 12 years and comes with an altogether experience of 16 years. She is a proprietor at DS Momaya and Company and serves as an independent woman director on the boards of Motilal Oswal Financial Services and Arihant Superstructures Limited. In addition, she is also a co-chairperson of IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry at Navi Mumbai. Divya is a distinguished advisor in corporate laws and an expert in formulating board processes and policies. Welcome, Divya ji.
Thank you.
So today, friends, our conversation is around one of the very critical areas of corporate governance in India, and we feel this is now very relevant for the Indian corporates to understand what is board refreshment and how it is relevant in today's day and age. So I understand that there is a very famous saying which is now I feel very relevant for today's chat, and that says that heterogeneous board of directors with independent thinking enforces governance and diversity strengthens creativity. Today, the primary concern of many stakeholders and investors is that the boards in India are becoming stale. There is no new addition of the members in the organization. There is no structure with reference to the current planning and strategies of the organization. Therefore, lack of independence, new perspectives, diversity could pose significant risks to the company's long term performance and effective oversight of the management. These days, evolution of board of directors is often referred to as board refreshment. In these evolving times, businesses are bringing innovative practices for the long-term sustainability. And certainly, this evolution must start at the top, and that is through the board of directors. Very interestingly, board directorship is still considered to be a lifetime engagement in Indian corporates. And somewhere we still question the candidature or understanding of a director if the tenure of that particular director is less than a perennial. However, this certainly doesn't mean that their seniority, their wisdom, their knowledge is not important for the company. Certainly it is. However, growing and evolving with the current business environment is equally important. And it is very important that the board represents what are your current strategies and plans. We try to say that our personality exactly reflects what our background is, and hence the same goes with the board management as well. What composition the board carries, what mindset the board carries, what structure the board carries, it exactly reflects what the company tries to show to its investors and to the stakeholders. Now this was about what the board refreshment as a term means and how it is relevant in today's day and age. Now, Divyaji, before going on to the question and answers, I would like to understand from you what are your views on board refreshment?
Yes, so board, as you said, evolution of the boards, having new, fresh blood on the boards in the corporates. So that's my understanding of board refreshments, and I think in India we currently are on a phase wherein a lot of new professionals, a lot of new aspirant directors are coming up, and with the government now making the examination mandatory for independent directors and all, so that's actually giving a lot of people the exposure of getting onto the boards of various companies. So I think board refreshments, if I very very clearly think of, then it is something like the company is looking out for the fresh opportunity, you know of having fresh people on the boards of their on their boards, which will actually give them a different direction altogether. So
Correct.
yes.
Thank you. And Divyaji, you being an independent director on two esteemed boards, so like it has been a difficult journey for the people to actually diligently choose the board. I understand the same must have happened with you while choosing the boards on which you want to be an independent director. So, what are your views and what are your things that you would like to communicate to the young aspirants who are trying to choose a board to become a director?
Uh, so see, being independent director on these two boards, yes, this has been a very, very, recent engagement for me. And I really feel, when I have been, observing these companies. So the companies who have, actually kind of a very diverse board, very, different field of professionals coming on the board. So that really gives the companies a very, very diverse kind of, a vision or the top management perspective to the company. So I'm sure, I would be, because it's still a very, very new kind of engagement for me. But yes, whatever best I have been, acquiring my knowledge, during my profession as a company secretary, as well as, because I, till some time I was treating myself as a professional, but later on I realized I'm also an entrepreneur. So, those skills, whatever I have acquired as entrepreneur in my journey, I would be, surely contributing to these boards.
Definitely, Divyaji, because it is like very important to choose the right board and right promoters and right company so that you can actually excel in whatever you are trying to contribute towards that particular organization.
Absolutely. In
So,
fact, yeah, I mean,
yeah, yes,
selecting a right promoter, when you're selecting a right company for yourself is very, very important. Having a background check of the promoters, their perspective, their vision, what company they, they aspire to take that company to the level. So I think these things are very, very important when you select a board, as an aspiring director. Yes.
correct. Because we always say that once the director is on board, they have to take their responsibilities with due care and loyalty. So I think this beforehand only it is started. Like, before getting onto the board, I think these all are the things that are very, very important that the board of directors should keep in mind and then select the right board.
Yes, absolutely.
So now moving on to the questions. Your first question for today is studies reveal that in countries like US and UK, investors and key stakeholders are already awake to the concept of board refreshment. However, in India, we are still living in a culture where board comes from an old school of thought, wherein tenure is something which is very, very important for them. Again, as I said, that say if they are less than a perennial, we try to think and try to question if they are the suitable persons to be on our board or no. So in these times, what could be certain best practices or measures that could help such Indian boards to evolve and strike a balance between the corporate performance and tenure?
Uh, as yes, you rightly said, in India, probably as far as the board refreshments is concerned, we seem to be on a very nascent stage. When we particularly talk of the board refreshment, but when I look at the Indian perspective, I think governance has been in Indian culture for a very, very long time. I have read, the Arthashastra by, Kautilya, that's Chanakya. So from that ages, the governance has been rooted in, the Indian culture. So as far as governance is concerned, I don't think we, are short of, the right practices. But yes, the mindset, towards the governance, is very important, which I always feel that if the promoters have a right mindset towards the best practices which needs to be followed as far as the governance is concerned, I think we will have a better governance, in the years to come. So,
Correct.
and if we compare with US and UK, the corporate governance norms, yes, because most of our corporate governance norms have been taken from UK laws. So in some way or the other, we are trying to cope up with them, and I think that's the challenge. What I see, that coping up or trying to copying again becomes a challenge, and if we better try to have something of our own which suits the Indian culture a better way. So I think that reform, I think government should look up to. That's what I feel.
Correct. Because our Indian boards come with a very, very different mindset. Like
Different
they are
mindset.
not the regular mindset people if we compare them to the boards of US or UK. So
Correct.
Indians, they carry their own personality and their own mindset. So that requires some sort of a nurturing from the start itself.
Yes, yes.
So, Divyaji, another question is, do you believe that going back to the basics in terms of board composition with respect to the performance, tenure, diversity, independence, skills and experience would work for Indian organizations, like restructuring or recreating the board from the scratch?
So see, basically, in one question you have asked so many things, the diversity and everything. So yes, to some extent, when we see in India, the top 1,000 companies probably have a better structure in place. But when we come down one level below, those 1,000 companies or, the top companies, the structures, the composition, the diversity is really not very existing. I mean, in fact, just, go beyond that. In SME, MSME sector, you will not even find the existence of the board, there are entrepreneurs, there are business owners, but you will not find the directors there. They use the designation of directors, but they don't know what that role is, what that designation is. So definitely we need to re-look at the entire structure. And also I feel, we stand on the edge wherein from a government perspective, they really need to think that, or probably there is a clear reform which is required from the company law perspective, the governance perspective, that, treating every company at par will not work. The composition at the listed entities and the composition at unlisted entities will surely be different. So that I think, we really need to relook, and as you said, we need to start from scratch, identifying, which boards have which kind of requirement, and then, governing them in that fashion will, I think, work better.
Correct, absolutely. So again, in continuation of the same question, there's another question that's in light of the Kota Committee recommendations, India raises corporate governance standards for listed companies. Again, with respect to the structure, diversity, overboarding, audit-related issues, board refreshment, etc. But now the board awareness is very, very low still in the sectors of SME companies, MSME companies, small companies. So, for that matter, what could be certain measures that could help these companies to ensure that their governance structures are at least up to some extent to par with the listed companies?
Yes, as I earlier mentioned, and if I give you some statistics, around 95 to 96% of the Indian businesses run into the SME and MSME sector. So governance, what we talk of, for the listed entities is hardly 2 or 3% or maximum 4 to 5% in the Indian context. Now, when we talk of this 95% of the, SMEs and MSMEs, barring some MSMEs who already have better structures in place, but wider MSMEs and SMEs, they really don't have any structure for the boards as such. And I think that's the area wherein we really need to, start helping them understand how the governance is going to help them grow. Because at that level of SMEs and MSMEs, they are really not concerned with right practices. They are really not concerned, with mere company mein independent director hona chahiye. They're not worried about that. What they're worried about is that, if something goes wrong between the directors, how am I going to resolve it? If something, so how the governance is going to help me to grow my company. So these are, I think, some questions, the regulators should try understanding, and, to that extent, if we help those SMEs and MSMEs in getting right practices which are required for the basic growth, I think, from a board's perspective. So that perspective, I think, will change. And I think that's the need currently, what I see. And, basic awareness, when I talk of the awareness, in the sense, the director should be aware that, okay, company law mein, so many compliances are there and I need to do. And I think you would agree, in 2017, almost 2.5 lakh companies were struck off, 3 lakh directors were disqualified. I mean, this was just a case which reflected that we are not
Lack
aware
of
that 3 साल का returns भी file करना है.
filing. Correct.
So many bank accounts freezed. I have seen almost more than 300 crore of money is lying into those freezed accounts in India. And people really were not aware that 3 साल return file नहीं करेंगे तो they would be disqualified for 5 years, you know. I mean,
Correct.
that was really a stringent action on the part of the government. But probably this provision was existing for more than, almost 5 decades in the company law for public limited companies. And in 2013 Act, this provision was made applicable to private limited companies wherein, you know, the companies, n number of companies got hit. So I think, you know, the awareness on the part of the professionals, awareness on the part of, you know, the consultants should really reach to SMEs and MSMEs that if you follow this, you will be benefited. I mean, the better governance, I mean, you see, you know, the top companies today, they have best practices. And that's where people have more confidence in them in as far as, you know,
Absolutely.
is concerned. So, you know, the governance will bring more trust when you really, you know, are expanding. So I think that awareness is, you know, very, very important.
It is very important, and you are actually in a dual position. You are also a director and a professional. So here the role of professional practicing company secretaries, consultants become very, very important, because they actually need to handhold these people. Of course, the listed companies being already under the radar of SEBI and other stock exchanges where they are listed, they already are aware of certain norms which they have to follow. But since you said that like 95% of the entire population of this particular company form of organizations is into the private sector, as in and into the small companies or SME, so they actually need that hand holding from our end. And being a practicing company secretary, we should actually handhold them and take them towards the future governance processes.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Divyaji, another question is, do you think that active shareholder engagement, including implementation of strict voting rights, would help in getting the right board in place? Because definitely a shareholders agreement is required once you appoint a director on board. So making those norms strict would be somewhere of a help.
See, basically, again, you know, when we see the shareholder activism or, you know, the involvement of shareholders, I think if we talk of the better companies or, you know, the bigger companies, shareholders are really fairly aware of, what are their rights as the shareholders when it comes to board composition. I've seen in one of the very top, you know, banking company, shareholders had refused to reappoint independent directors. So, you know, there to that extent, yes, there is a awareness, but still, when we talk of the larger number of the shareholders, they really don't, you know, or they're not concerned. When we talk of the listed entity, I'm talking of, they're really not concerned how the companies, you know, are, you know, performing. So what they are concerned is stock market mein what's, you know, the pricing and how much they are, you know, earning on it. So to that extent, involvement really doesn't happen by the stakeholders, you know, shareholders very, very specifically. But yes, when we talk of the institutional investors, they have been very, very, you know, aggressively taking involvement in the company's functioning, because ultimately larger stakes are involved for them. So, I mean, retail shareholders, if we consider, I think for most of the companies, the participation has been very, very low. And where I think, you know, these small shareholders, representative directors, you know, is a concept which government should really work on. And, you know, even if the provision is there under the law, I have not seen, you know, many companies having that particularly, except, yes, bigger entities, they have all these things. But when we come to the, maybe a group B group company, or, you know, the one level below the top 500 companies, those norms are not existing. So representative shareholders, kind of on the board can also add as, you know, a good, kind of activism measure. So I think government should think of something on that lines.
Correct. So another thing, what we talk about board refreshment is like independence and performance are two key areas that need concentration. Now again, performance evaluation of board is a critical matter, and by law, again, it is mandated for listed companies. However, we observe that major problems of directorships are majorly again faced by the small companies or SMEs. So how would you deal with a situation as an independent director, and what measures would you suggest for your board to get aligned with their strategic performances, and how performance evaluation would be important for small companies?
So see, basically, I mean, as far as independent directors' role is concerned, so I mean,
Hmm.
I have been independent director on the boards of two listed entities where performance evaluation and all these measures are already existing. But now,
Right.
when we talk of these smaller companies, unlisted companies, the performance
Hmm.
evaluation, I mean entrepreneurs, because when we talk of the one level there, uh,
Hmm.
the as I said, boards are not existing, so they treat themselves as the owners and the promoters of the companies, and
Hmm.
they do evaluate the employees, the senior management, the performance of the employee. As you know, performance appraisals keep on going, at various levels
Hmm.
of organization, but the evaluation of the top management, that's the board of directors, usually is not a very very active trend when we talk of
Hmm.
the smaller listed entities or even the unlisted space. So I think if
Hmm.
that starts happening, boards will be able to realize the areas wherein they need to focus, areas wherein they can't devote time, or the improvement in their performance. So self appraisal, what we call, or self
Hmm.
assessment,
Hmm.
what we
Hmm.
call. So
Hmm.
these things will really drive them for a better governance, and realizing that yes, these are the areas wherein I have been performing, but these are the areas wherein I need to look into. So that
Hmm.
evaluation surely will bring the best practices to a next benchmark. So I think
Correct.
yes, that's the need of the day, and more companies should really consider board evaluation as one of the important yearly appraisal, kind
Yeah.
of on the performance of the board. At the same time, when they are doing the performance appraisal
Hmm.
for the entire company overall. So
Correct.
that's important, which companies can implement and should implement.
Absolutely. So, Divyaji, the last question that goes to you is what are the five key takeaways that you would like to suggest our viewers and the key young aspirants who want to be on the board of some companies?
So, wonderful question, Devija. First of all, I really think the preparedness for the board position is very, very important. So when you are
Correct.
entering the boardroom, you should be prepared on the agenda which has been circulated. Your preparation, your homework is very, very important. So that's one tip for everyone. The second I
Correct.
feel is the power of networking amongst the
Hmm.
like-minded directors, wherein you
Hmm.
really or basically you learn from others best practices and others experiences. So that's very important and critical.
Hmm.
Third
Hmm.
thing which I feel every director should have is a right way of communication, because communication in the boardrooms becomes important, especially when you are not agreeing to anything, or you have some kind of a disagreement. So how affirmatively, or rather treating it as a kind of a argument, you put your point rightly, aptly. That one skill is very, very important. The
Right.
fourth point I would like to say is continuous upgradation, updation of
Hmm.
skills, upgradation of knowledge, which is very,
Hmm.
very important in the board position, because board of directors have the holistic view overall, on the businesses. So you
Hmm.
can't say, okay, I know only HR, or I know only finance, and I can't know anything on the other aspects. So you are
Hmm.
expected that you know everything, and
Hmm.
that's where you need to keep yourself updated. And but again, I have seen a trend, directors have always, I know everything while a tax still continues. So they doesn't upgrade themselves or upskill themselves. So that's one area which I feel aspiring directors should keep learning new things every now and then. And I've seen, some of the best minds, I have been interacting, and at the age of 60s and 70s, now they're learning technology, now they're learning, the
Right.
digital tools. They're even learning the coding languages, this is something amazing, which, actually inspires me as well to be updated every time. And there's so much to learn, so much to acquire knowledge on. So,
Correct.
that's my takeaway for, the viewers here. And lastly, I feel, your right attitude. So your attitude really matters a lot, a positive attitude. You
Correct.
enter the board meeting with you can enter a board meeting with two, thought processes. One is countering every, decision which is coming to the table, or accepting every decision which comes to your table. So whether you are countering everything or you are, accepting everything, both are, not a right situation. So you have to make a right balance at the same time, with a positive attitude, with a contribution mindset. If you're participating at the boards, it can, surely help the companies, the management, as well as the directors. So
Correct. Correct. Thank you so much, Divyaji. I think you have given our viewers, and especially also to me, wonderful views on what the term board refreshment means. Because, before having this conversation, I was very skeptical whether this particular topic, if people are aware about it. Even before this, I was researching, and I couldn't find so many things that were relevant to board refreshments in India.
correct.
So this was something which was very, very unique and useful as per your experience and what you have been through as an independent director and a professional. Thank you so much for joining our
My
conversation.
pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was absolutely
Thank.
wonderful to be here, Divija, and wonderful initiative what you have started. And definitely, a lot of the companies and the businesses definitely need these kind of insights, coming from the directors. So more power to you.
Thank you, Divyaji. Thank you so much. Thanks all the viewers for watching us and getting some beautiful insights on board refreshment, finding the right balance for your board. We'll be again back with another insights on other critical issues of corporate governance with other experts. Till then, bye bye. See you. Thank you.